Halo Kridian, saat ini saya sudah berada di ruang auditorium gedung E lantai 7 Universitas Kristen Krida Wacana. Sesaat lagi akan kita saksikan rangkaian acara Visiting Professorship Conferring Ceremony to Dr. Masahiro Oikawa. Selamat menyaksikan.
Dr. Masahiro Oikawa, Dr. Aristarchus Sukarto, the President of OCRIDA, distinguished guests, fellow colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to welcome all of you in recognition of Dr. Oikawa as the visiting professor at OCRIDA. On behalf of Krida Wacana Christian University, I would like to take this opportunity to express our sincerely thanks to Dr. Oikawa, who graciously accepts help the Engineering and Computer Science Faculty at OCRIDA to develop into an international university by giving his time and knowledge to share with the students and staff of OCRIDA. We hope this cooperation will give advantage to the engineering and computer science students and lecturers of OCRIDA in facing global free trade, particularly in optical communication system and optical instrumentation. This recognition marks the milestone of the good start of more foreign lecturers to deliver lectures in OCRIDA in the near future. Once again, thank you, Dr. Oikawa. We look forward to the brighter future of OCRIDA by means of your expertise and kind support to us. Thank you.
Also, Dr. Oikawa, on behalf of OCRIDA, Krida Wacana Christian University, I would like to welcome you. First of all, I would like to welcome to you all in this gathering, and I was so surprised that many of you are here because usually only about 50 maximum. So today is a very exciting day, and also especially we do expect that the presence of Dr. Masahiro Oikawa, your presence here it's not the first and last visit to OCRIDA, I hope so, but will be continued the next day or next month or next year. OCRIDA was started in 1967 actually, so it's a long time, 67. By opening the medical science, engineering, and also economics. However, in its long journey, the engineering, especially the electrical engineering, found itself is not so attractive by the youngsters today. This department, compared with others, is a little bit left behind. That's why your presence is very important for us. At least give inspiration, but also encouragement to us how to improve this engineering from now and the future. Many reasons as to why this really happened. Besides the difficult, I think engineering is very difficult. I'm not engineer. I'm not very good in mathematics and this kind of thing. So seems to me that besides this difficult subject to do engineering, it would be probably there is a need that this department is supported by the industrial reality. So I mean that part of study in engineering is very difficult, but also we lack of lack of support from the industrial society or community. That's why I personally expect that your visit, your coming, and your presence here really will be very helpful for us today and tomorrow. That's why for this, seeing this reason, I would like to welcome you to be part of UPRIDA, especially seeing your expertise and your network, because I think Lina told me that you have such a good network, but also a good knowledge in this industrial engineering. So, as UPRIDA, we are very fortunate that being visited by such a good professor, but also keen person to work in engineering field. Thank you very much for coming, and UPRIDA is very fortunate. Thank you.
To public lecture from Professor Masahiro Oikawa from Japan. There are two lectures. The first one is light propagation in optical communication system and optical instrumentation, and the second one is optic and photography. Please welcome Professor Masahiro Oikawa.
Thank you very much to have this kind of the opportunity to talk about something like optics to you. And optics is not so much popular even in Japan, in the university. In the private company like Canon, Nikon, Olympus, such optical equipment, they are making optical equipment. The education inside of the company is very aggressive. But in the university, education is not so much popular in Japan. So I think about optics is recently coming the very good opportunity, not only Japan but also in Indonesia. So I want to talk about something about optics, and hopefully you will start interested in the optics, and that will bring you some idea to the business in the future. And okay. Next slide, please. Okay, my lecture is consists of the three categories. One is a serious optics, rather serious optics. And mainly talking about the optical light propagation. Actually, I was graduate at school, doctor courses. After that, I joined to the private company to do the research. And first I do the kind of the research work. And then I moved inside of the company to the rather more marketing field. So here I learned the economy, and also faced at the economical problem of the IT. So I studied so hard about optics theory and experiment, research. I did so much hard. And in the beginning of my life in the university, I thought I will be happy if I study hard about that technology. But when I experience with my experience in the industry, right, technology is not enough to be people to be happy. So I think the UPRIDA students in coming here will be grown up, study very hard about physics, theory, mathematics, or something like that, and to be an engineer to join the most of the case in the company, private company, and come to join to the industry. But I definitely say, only the technology you cannot be happy. Something is progressing in the world. The engineer is not only controlled by the technology, but also economy. Sometimes economy will suffer you. Actually, I'm now 58 years old. I graduated at 27 years old to graduate school of the Tokyo Institute of Technology. Most of my friends who graduate school were doctor thesis, becoming cannot continue his life as a scientist. That is suffered by the IT bubble economy. So we are engineer, tending to the engineer, but the engineer to do their only technology part. I want to give you some caution about take care of the economy, and we have to be more flexible to how to survive, to find the next business. And also, not only third parties rather more interesting the optics. You will be the engineer. So in the situation of the boy, I want to ask you, if you get a girlfriend, you are engineer. If your girlfriend says, give her to the proof why you are engineer, what you can do? What you can do for the girlfriend? I think there some kind of the hobby is necessary. So third party is the application of the optics in the real life. I like to take a picture, and I want to show you the secret of the optics. That theory, how to make ladies more beautiful using the camera of the optical technology. That is very much based on the theory of the optics. So you can really enjoy. So you are happy? Do you want to be my model? I will take you as a very beautiful. Okay, next slide please. So, my background, 1979, 1984, I studied at the Tokyo Institute of Technology as a doctor of engineering, to be a doctor of engineering. 1984 to 1991, I joined the Nippon Sheet Glass Company as a researcher. And I did actually some success in the micro-optics field in the Nippon Sheet Glass Company. So I imagined I will be a director of the research laboratory of the Nippon Sheet Glass Company. But the Nippon Sheet Glass Company decided me not to be a researcher, but they forced me to be a actual business unit of the optics division, to be a director of the marketing. So Nippon Sheet Glass Company asked me to find their business, not to continue the research, but more make NSG company people to be happy. So I have to try to find a new business opportunity. And IT bubble is busted. NSG stopped the activity in the optics, so I have to shift to the new company, OptoHub. That is a venture company of the optical component and module. And now I'm continuing to the business as my profession or my occupation is a general manager of the marketing. So most of the people were visiting professor here in Euclida will be most of the case of the professor of the university. I'm not a professor of I'm not a real professor of the university, but I'm working for the private company. That is much different of the another professor. I mean the professor, my definition, what is a professor? My definition is the professor is more close to God. But in the private industry company, working people is more humanized. So I want to show you how to survive in the industry as a human and how to find the enjoyment in a life relating to the office. Okay, next slide please. What I did do the research work in the Tokyo Institute of Technology. I made a very small lens in a glass substrate. This is a glass substrate that is a very small lens is located. The next slide, please. This is made by the semiconductor process. That is a planar technology. The most people is believe in the 20th century that electrical engineering is succeeding using the planar technology. Does anyone have an idea what is the planar technology? Planar technology is used to make integrated circuits, IC, CPU, memory, like a computer. That is preparing the substrate and doing some photolithographic magical technique and make a small, tiny transistors, capacitors, or something like that in a single batch process on the planar. My professor, Professor Iga, he asked me, you can have a chance to make a micro lens on a glass substrate using such a planar technology. So I have studied so hard and find the technology how to make lenses on a glass substrate to put on the metal mask in a glass substrate, that is plain glass, put on the metal glass, immersed in the molten salt, and making a structure or index distribution inside to make a very small lenses inside. So that time we are thinking with the Professor Iga, what is the application? But actually, we don't know what is the application. It's a very interesting early stage of the research. We start some research, something interesting. That is the motivation of us. But finally, we are finding some applications. The next slide, please. That is micro lens array can be used interconnection of the laser diode. Here is a laser diode array, micro lens array. This is a ribbon fiber of the array, and the light is coupled to the using the micro lens to the fiber, and light emitted from the fiber to focus into the photodetector array. That is the that can be really applied to the switching board, optical switching board of the used in the telecommunication company. Next slide, please. And also, my micro lenses array is first applied to the projection TV. The projection TV is here. Behind the screen, you can see the projection. This is not a TV, but a projection monitor, or something like that. That is using the liquid crystal. So liquid crystal has a segment of the pixel. That has the around the pixel there is a electrode that prevents the light coming through. So we use a micro lens here and light through to the pixel of the liquid crystal, and you can have the brighter image using this technology. So I did the I researched in the Tokyo Institute of Technology and invented the micro lens array with the Professor Iga, and to join to the Nippon Sheet Glass Company, that is a private company, and I have succeeded in to make it in the real business. And after that, I dreamed I want to be a director of the research laboratory, but that is an impossible dream. The company forced me to send me to the marketing. Okay, next slide. So, and other marketing, what I did is to make a relation based on the micro lenses to the world. Many companies, I made a relation with the alliance with many companies. That is a waveguide company in Germany, and this is a fiber splitter, fusion fiber coupler in England. This is the optical photodetector company in United States and isolated in the United States. So based on the microwave technology, I made some alliance with some company, and I could see the what is the real world, and what is the business, and what is people is doing to get the money based on the business. So that is a very, for me, that is a very good experience, not to the research only, but also to see the world and the many people, especially venture company, the growing venture company, managing people, engineers, what they are thinking about to make it in a success in the business. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. And I want to talk about optics for the application. The optical theory, later I will talk to you something very mathematics. Do you like mathematics? People, please give a hand who like the mathematics. No? There are people who hate the mathematics. Okay, theory. Actually, theory I like very much. And that is a very beautiful theory, and people will be a human. If you study a theory and clever enough, you can be a real human. Otherwise, you are still being an insect. That is my close friend who are professor in a Spanish university told me. Students still are insect level. But if they study the hard and master in the technology theory, they will be a human. Okay. But real application of the optics is very interesting. Do you see this picture? Please give me a hand. Do you like this kind of picture? If I take you such a kind of picture, you appreciate it or not? Oh boys, if you want to be a girlfriend, one of the best ways to master how to take a beautiful picture. Your girlfriend will be appreciated, and you have the much chance to be close to the beautiful girl. I will, in my final talk, I will teach you my secret, how to take ladies in a beautiful, that is a very special technique based on the optical system. So you want to study the optics. Okay, next slide please. And optics is a kind of the, optics is a very special area of the field, what I want to say. To make a beautiful picture of the lady, you don't use the energy. For example, other technology for electronics, computer, that is need plug-in power, electrical power. So another technology for automobile, you want to put on the gasoline and to put something engine does not work inside, they need energy. But optics is a very strange area. You can make a result without any energy. For example, to take a picture of the beautiful lady, you don't need any special power of the computer, CPU power. Just selecting the suitable lenses and the suitable light focusing condition. And that is a natural, the light is naturally existing around the world. And if you treat based on the theory of the optics, you can make a beautiful picture. This is a judo. You know the Japanese traditional sport of the judo. The judo master said, you don't use energy by themselves to through the other people. Use the energy of the other people. That is the success of the judo. So optics is something like a judo technology. Okay, next slide please. And also, another example of the beautiful example of the optical calculator. So I said optics makes some kind of making a result of some kind of the result using the no energy. No energy necessary, they can do some optical calculation. So people can say that here. This is the image of the, here. I took some kind of the plant. The raindrop is here. And with the raindrop, there is the image of the sunlight here. And here. You can see here, light is spreading like a starlight. That's a beautiful starlight image. How can we make it? This is a very complicated Fourier transform. Do you familiar about the Fourier transform? The computer science people. Yes. Two-dimensional Fourier transform is sometimes a rather difficult computer program. But using the one lens, you can do the Fourier transform in two-dimensional Fourier transform without no energy, without no effort. That is a kind of the secret of the optics. So example of the optical calculation, Fourier transform, we can do the without any power, even though that this is a two-dimensional Fourier transform. Next slide, please. Actually, that is the camera has aperture. So this is I think the 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 corners of the aperture, and this one. This is a camera lens aperture. That camera lens aperture can be transformed by the light power from the sunlight. So you can see the starlight image. Such a kind of the calculation naturally done, and also you can apply to such a kind of technology to take a picture of the rain. That is quite amazing, and you can have a time to explain how I can take your picture in beautiful. You can spend 30 minutes or 1 hour to talk about your girlfriend to explain how to take a beautiful picture. Okay, next slide. And this is also, I want to see the, how to make your beautiful picture and another technology based on the concept of the art, defocusing. If you want to make a picture in the red in the beautiful, another technology, important technology, is the defocus outside. And you have to focus on only the eye of the human. And or flowers, there is a defocusing part. So, camera lens, if you use a good camera lens, you can make a very beautiful defocus. Yeah, here, I want to mention, if you want to make your girlfriend in beautiful, please take care of the her faces, not her faces, but the outside, surrounding background. Background is quite important if your girlfriend make in a beautiful picture. So, yeah, what is the beautiful? What the background makes your girlfriend in beautiful? That is using the defocus technology on the outside. Here, if you have here flowers or something like cat or dogs or something like that, if you watch the people of the picture, people see the another point of the surrounding. But the surrounding, you have to illuminate. Then, rather soft, defocus image if you want, if you can make here, the her faces, you can concentrate to see the her faces and clearly. Only clearness is necessary to her faces, so you can make your girlfriend in the future. Later, I will talk to you. The last day, I will talk you this kind of the technique, how you can make girls' faces in a very beautiful. Okay, next slide. Okay, so now I want to change my mind. I have to change my mind. I will be rather more serious. You will be grown up. You will study in Euclid as a university student and graduate the university. I recommend you to study the very important scientific concept, 4 or 5 concepts that people achieve in history. One of the important concepts is God does not waste the effort. I mean, another meaning, more exactly in the scientific world, that is the, okay, let me forget, I'm forgetting the word, but the least operating theory. I mean, light in the glass substrate, glass blocks. In the glass, light propagation speed is slower. But there is some kind of a theory how light bends here. That is the important concept is this light is coming here with the velocity of the light is coming hit the surface and then reflected to here, and this part of light comes slower. But if you calculate the time, light propagating from here to propagating here, this time is the minimum, will be minimum. If the light bending coming here, light is coming go straight, in that case, something part of here. This optical pathway is what? This time, light is propagating here and coming to here. This time is longer to comparing with this trajectory. This is the minimum time optical pathway. This is something like that. So I'm sorry, this is already some kind of the trouble in the water. The boys have to help her. How you can come to read it fast in the fastest trajectory? If you come to here straight, the running speed is faster than the swimming. So people is coming in straight. Swimming length is longer than becoming longer. So time will be also longer. So people running more distance by running in a fast speed and bended here. So if you come to the lady, light is coming, this guy come to faster to the lady. This kind of the very, very interesting concept of the physics. The least minimum effort you can achieve to the optical path trajectory. And the next slide, please. This kind of the refraction. This kind of the refraction we can use lens. This is a circular curvature you have to here. You can focus the light in one point. This is a theory of the lens. Okay, next slide, please. And another point, I want to talk to you about much more about optical fiber. So you are using the internet very comfortably. The communication method is almost depend on the optical fiber. Have you ever seen the optical fiber? I think optical fiber technology was thought that is a very important technology, and the people studied so hard and a lot of effort on do that about concerning about optical fiber. So optical fiber is the kind of this structure. This is the kind of this structure of the glass fiber. Outside there is the cladding. We call it the low refractive index cladding glass. And inside there is a high refractive index glass. The light is incident in this core part. They make the total reflection of the light and propagating the optical fiber. And using such of the optical fiber, you can do the comfortable internet optical communication. And here, second important physical philosophy I recommend you to study about. That is more close to the quantum mechanics. The world is very interesting. They are existing. For example, quantum mechanics, there is a concept of there is a particle. And another concept is the electron wave. The wave can be interference with each other and makes a kind of such a kind of structure. If you study in physics in high school, this is the structure of the atom. The electron have to existing in their certain orbit, not existing freely. To understanding the quantum mechanics, but rather sometimes difficult because of we cannot see the atoms, but the actual phenomena of the quantum mechanics. But that is very, very similar to the optics. If you have the optical fiber, very big optical fiber, glass rod, inside is a very high refractive index 4, outside the low refractive index flooding. The light is propagating. But the optical fiber is thinner enough. So diameter is something like your hair, 100 micron, and the inside core is close to the few 10 micron in diameter. In the case of the light wave, its wavelength is about 1 micron. So close to if the structure dimension is close to the wavelength of the light, it becomes a very interesting phenomenon. You can find it. Light is propagating in certain angle, but not all angle is allowed. Very special angle is only allowed. This is the structure of the optical light beam divergence pattern. We looked at here, light incident here, and emergent light beam we see. That makes a circular. That means the certain angle is only allowed to propagating in the optical field. So, what is the optics? You can see the optics like a light beam. That is coming, the light energy is going straight, but not only the optics is a light ray, but also that has that character of the wave. That makes, if you propagate in the optical fiber, that makes such a kind of a ring pattern, a certain angle of the light propagating is allowed. Is a kind of the theory of the optical fiber. This kind of the beautiful example, the light is propagating in the optical fiber, that makes a certain angle is only certain angle is allowed, is found with Batsubara-san when he came to join the Tokyo Institute and we studied together. He found this kind of a very beautiful picture and made a proof in the optical fiber, certain angle of the light can propagate. Okay, next slide. And such a kind of rather amazing research life of the optical fiber. But after that, actually, I graduated Tokyo Institute of the Technology and joined to the private company in 1984. And until I think the beginning of 93 or something, this period, I did a research work at Nippon Sheet Glass Company and to make a micro and to join to the optical fiber real optical fiber division to make it more concerning about the business. In that time, CapEx, that is the capital expenditure. How much money in the U.S. This is in the U.S. CapEx is how much money to spend to buy the equipment in the optical fiber technology in the United States. such a kind of the investment is rather slow until 1994. But from 1995 to the year of the 2000, very surprising economical situation was happening. That we call it the IT bubble. People, around this area, 1995, internet is generated, invented in the concept of invented. And we are assuming there are a lot of rights to using the more information and more information. So IT bubble is the investment is increased. But in 1999 to 92, many people did rushed to get the money based on the internet. So they put the money for the investment, and they want to get the return from the stock market. So that makes a bubble economy. And bubble economy, this kind of the time is the people very much happy. This time only. But that is an impossible dream, not a real happy. The economy is seems to growing so rapidly, but suddenly that is a banner. After that, there are people who are relating to the optical engineering, optical fiber technology, becoming so unhappy. They have to lose their business or their technology, people in the market or industry. To be a good engineer, they studied hard, they spend a lot of time to their research and experiment or some kind of to invest their technology to production. But after the bubble economy, such a kind of the technical skill is not necessary. Company says, we don't need you. A lot of many my friends who are concerning about optics, especially to making the semiconductor laser optical fiber, have to leave the company, and what they having the technology about optical fiber, but in the industry, such a kind of technology no more needed. So such a kind of the possibility for my life in the after 27 to the now I'm 58 years old. 30 years I'm existing in the industrial area. Technology is interesting, and we are like to investigate by myself to the better technology. But not only this kind of technology, not always makes you happy. We have to take care of about the technology on that. The second session I will about kind of the economical problem, what of the surrounding here. So I want to give you a caution. You will be most of the students in the Euclid will be a very good engineer to join to the industry. And the first time you will use your skill of the technology to grow up your company. But always you have to watch to the what is the real economy progressing. And later I will, in my real lecture, I will discuss about you what is the problem is in the economy. Sometimes you have to fight to the capitalism. Capitalism is a very dangerous situation here now by the stock market. So such a kind of the portion I want to give you to be your life after you graduate Euclid, and you will join the company and to do some activity in the other company, but every time that you have to watch out the economy, and sometimes you have to fight against to the capitalism. Okay, next slide please. Okay, such a bubble economy, there are many companies made and bankrupt. Okay, next slide please. And this is one of the best company relating to the telecommunication in Japan was the Nippon Electronics Company, NEC. this is a stock market. Using the IT bubble, the stock price is rising rapidly, but after the IT bubble is burst out, the stock price is rapidly decreased. This means that a lot of my friends worked at the MET company who studied the Tokyo Institute of Technology after Professor Iga, after Professor Tsuema. There was a very good engineer or scientist about a semiconductor laser. But almost no people is now doing such a kind of the engineering activity. That is the kind of the what bubble economy may kill the technology. Okay, next slide, please. So our company, okay, we'll jump that. Next slide. So my situation is also to relating the optical fiber communication starting, but to survive in such a kind of the crisis of the economy, you have to find a new technology. I want to discuss here. If you become an engineer, after that, what you should do? You have to develop your new technology, not only what you studied in the university, but new concept you have to continuously study. Now, we are studying, now I'm joined to the OptoHub, my venture company. I'm finding from the optical fiber technology, now I'm finding to the optical coherent tomography. That is, you see the structure of the human body in the surface, 5 millimeter inside. You can see what is happening in the eye, this part, and also this is the part, what to say, the medical world. Okay, here later I will study about the medical world, but this is the true production inside of the heart. Here is something that prevents the flow of the blood, but this kind of the defect you can see here. You can see the optical fiber. So from the optical fiber technology was almost killed by the bubble economy. I'm now a marketing people. As a marketing people, I have to find a new technology that can be applied the fiber optical technology, and now I'm finding to the medical application. I want to talk about such a experience. What you needed after you, I believe you have to work after you clear several 10 years in the industry. Sometimes you will face at such a kind of the crisis. That is your technology no more needed. In that time, I want to show you the example how to find a survival way to find a new application area. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is okay, next slide, please. This is, okay, next. Okay, and finally, little bit I will talk about the lens theory to make a beautiful ready picture. I want to ask you, did you study about optics in high school or something like this? Do you familiar with concepts of the picture? This is the best, do you know? Have you ever seen this kind of picture? Can you suppose what? People who know that this one, what is this one? This is a secret how you can make a raised picture face in beautiful. You have to understand this kind of the ray theory. Please give me a hand. Who knows what is this one? Nobody knows this kind of picture. Have you ever seen this kind of picture? No? Okay. This is how lens makes an image. There is the object. Light is coming here, and this is the lens and make an image. So, if you make a picture of the lens in beautiful, you have to aware about the focal length here. Focal length is defined by the light is parallelly incident to the lens and bended by the lens, and make this point to cross the optical axis. This distance is the focal length. The value of the focal length is quite important to make people pictures. So, for example, okay. I have a camera here. This camera focal length is a 100 millimeter lens. Here, this is a small camera. The focal length is a 22 millimeter. This is a 100 millimeter. If I try to take a picture, which camera do you select? Large one, small one, or another means large focal length lens and small focal length. Okay. You take a picture by the iPhone, smartphone, or iPad or something like that, or digital camera. If you want to take a rated picture, do you select the camera has the telemode? Telemode means the long focal length and wide mode. Do you understand? Your camera has the telemode and wide mode. Telemode is the long focal length. Wide mode is short focal length. If you want to take a picture of your girlfriend, which focal length do you select? Longer is better or shorter is better? Okay, please raise the hand. Who think about the longer focal length and the shorter focal length? Okay. In my lecture, I will tell you. This focal length is quite important to make your girlfriend picture in beautiful. Next slide. Okay. This is a kind of the effect you are comparing. This is a picture. I use the camera of the 200 millimeter focal, very long focal length telescope lens for the to take it. This picture is a very short focal length picture. This is he has a very long, and she has a very beautiful face. This is a kind of the what we say the perspective. Lens focal length is the effect of the perspective that makes shorter focal length camera lens makes a perspective is enhanced. If you want to make your girlfriend's face in beautiful, enhancement is not necessary. Perspective is smaller. Smaller is better. So the conclusion. If you want to take a raised face in the focus, you have to select the camera length as long as possible. And next slide, please. Okay, this is not applied only to the rail. Professor, people raise a hand. This is a nice picture or not? If you think that this is a nice picture, please raise a hand. This is not bad, not good. I think that this picture I took 100 millimeter focal length, long focal length. I think that I can get a better effect to make a human picture using a longer focal length. So thank you very much. I am very much complimented to give you a chance, to opportunity to talk about the students for the Ukraine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the Dr. Oikawa. So we'd like to continue our agenda. Apakah ada pertanyaan dulu dari teman-teman mahasiswa atau Bapak Ibu barangkali mengenai ini fotografi dan hal yang berkaitan dengan ini? Persilakan. Oke, barangkali. Silakan.
My name is Oki. Actually, I'm quite interested when you say about the economic bubble through IT in the United States of America. What do you think will happen in Indonesia So you have any projection?
Yeah, it's a very important question. The IT bubble in Japanese engineer is what I think the one of the most serious problem of the optical engineer is that they are thinking about only technology, human psychology. They didn't think about the human psychology. So when we started about the optical fiber technology study, research, what we think about? Optical fiber will be necessary to do the better communication, to make a better relation with the people. That is true. The optical fiber that can send a lot of data in a simultaneous in a short time, that will be changing our life. Actually, our life will be changed. We can communicate quite easily by email, Skype. Do you use the Skype or Line or something like that? Your communication becoming very convenient. Actually, my hobby is music. Using the Skype, I took a piano lesson from the professor from the Paris Conservatoire in Japan. That is true. So such a kind of the Skype or such a kind of high-speed communication becoming the human life is due to very convenient. And when we studied, we start to develop the optical fiber technology. We think about the optical fiber technology is quite important. So we will be happy if we study the optical fiber technology so hard. But the IT bubble is happened. What was wrong? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea what was wrong? Optical fiber technology is still quite important to do the Skype, internet, Facebook, or such a kind of to make a human relation to do their communication. Optical fiber technology actually really important technology. However, what was wrong? Do you have any idea? This is very much based on the human psychology. Quite important one, very clear. Do you use the internet? But do you want to pay the internet or telephone company? So if you use the Skype or some kind of the Line or Facebook or such a kind of the internet technology, you are enjoying. But where you want to go? University, free of charge to the access, McDonald's or convenience store or something shop. They can prepare for you the hotspot. In a free of charge, you can enjoy the internet. So, biggest problem, how telecom company can get the money if you prepare the internet infrastructure. Why? I think this is a very fundamental problem, and everyone have to thinking about. We are enjoying to the internet, but nobody wants to pay the money to the internet. What is this discrepancy? Why people don't want to pay to the money for the telephone company? So people don't want to pay the money for the telephone company. Telephone company don't want to pay to the equipment company, system company, NEC or something, or semiconductor laser company, such a kind of the material company. They don't want to pay. What was wrong? That is the biggest question. And also, this is in the negative side. I'm complaining about the nature of the human psychology, but to say the compliment cannot make you a result. So, in the other term, in Indonesia, what will be internet if you do such a kind of technology? I want to say use the application. People want to pay the money for the application. Sometimes don't want to pay. But basically, if there is a good application to use you find the internet, you want to pay money. For example, so I think the Euclid has some relation with the foreign university. Maybe some kind of. For example, #1 university in the world will be Harvard or something like that. Such a kind of the #1 company in the world. If you can access to the internet to take a lecture of the famous professor, or Nobel Prize professor, something like that, you want to pay. For example, and or anything. Do you want to use Amazon or something kind of the Tower Record or something kind of such a kind of. So if you want to buy some very interesting comic book or some kind of the important book or something like that, you want to pay to access the internet, but you want to pay to the books or movies, videos or something, CD, DVD, something like that. So my understanding, people can pay the money for their application, but not base technology. So let's think about, I want to encourage the people in the Euclid students to be a very good engineer. Thinking about not only the technology, but please think about what your technology can apply. Such an application, people want to pay the money. So for example, why I talked about the camera technology, lens technology. Light propagation theory, that is something like that rather tedious, difficult mathematics playground or something like that. Not so much interesting. But if you find that application of the ray theory to make your girlfriend face in a beautiful, that I believe such a kind of the application has a kind of the worth. So my recommendation to the students who are grown up in their next life, next generation, to develop your skillness in the engineering technology is quite important, but not only the technology. Always please thinking about application. That is my recommendation.
Apakah masih ada pertanyaan lagi atau komen? Dipersilakan. Yeah, I'd like to say thank you very much for Dr. Oikawa, which gave the very interesting lecture both in the engineering side and in industrial side. And we invite also for the students and also for the lecturer, maybe you can join in the Dr. Oikawa class in this week if you're available. And we'd like to continue to the next agenda. We have the Student Achievement Award. Okay, for the
Kita bersyukur pada tahun 2014 rekan-rekan mahasiswa FTIK telah mengikuti kompetisi baik secara nasional maupun internasional, dan mereka telah berhasil mendapatkan juara dan mengharumkan nama Ukrida khususnya FTIK. Untuk itu acara ini diselenggarakan oleh FTIK untuk memberi penghargaan kepada mahasiswa FTIK yang memperoleh prestasi di tahun 2014. Baiklah, langsung saja kita panggilkan mahasiswa berprestasi 2014 FTIK. Yang pertama dari jurusan Teknik Elektro, ada Wesley Quinta Nadia Madra Erlando Kristiawan yang mengikuti program kreativitas mahasiswa 2014. Kami persilakan untuk maju ke depan. Dengan program dan perlombaan yang sama, juga ada Wilson Julius, ada Mahardi Arifin, Amelia, Katrina, dan Yosafat Talahatu. Kami persilakan untuk maju ke depan. Katrina dan Palistorus Sanggudala yang mengikuti perlombaan Lomba Robo Master Cup IRMC BPPT dengan mendapat juara 1. Kita melangkah pada jurusan teknik industri. Ada Agus Kurniawan, Martin Kirawan, dan Tony Hartanto dengan mengikuti perlombaan Engineering Festival dan Kompetisian di UPH dengan mendapat peringkat 5 besar. Kepada rekan-rekan yang mendapat juara, kami persilakan. Selanjutnya, Venska Stefani dengan mengikuti perlombaan publikasi jurnal nasional. Kepada Stefani kami persilakan ke depan. Kita melangkah pada jurusan teknik sipil. Yang pertama ada Budiman Aditya Evan Wijaya dengan mengikuti perlombaan Challenge Competition di Universitas Katolik Parahyangan Bandung dengan mendapat peringkat 2 besar. Kepada rekan-rekan mahasiswa kami persilakan untuk ke depan. Selanjutnya ada Kevin Billy Theodorus dengan perlombaan karya tulis ilmiah di Universitas Gadjah Mada, Yogyakarta dengan mendapat peringkat 5 besar. Kami persilakan ke depan. Selanjutnya ada Nadia dengan mengikuti perlombaan Konteks 8 National Conference of Civil Engineering di ITB Bandung. Lydia, kami persilakan ke depan. Dengan perlombaan yang sama, Konteks 8 National Conference of Civil Engineering di ITB Bandung, ada Gerald Christian. Kami persilakan untuk ke depan. Juga masih pada perlombaan Konteks 8 National Conference of Civil Engineering di ITB Bandung, kami persilakan untuk Felix Pati. Selanjutnya perlombaan Ice Destructor Challenge yang diwakili oleh William Sanjaya, Kevin Billy, Elvata Minua Kakisina, dan Dian Nusantara. Kami persilakan untuk ke depan. Selanjutnya penyerahan penghargaan medali yang akan diserahkan oleh Profesor Dr. Erni kepada juara 1 robotik. Kepada Bapak kami persilakan.
Medalinya emas, real emas kodenya, ya, jadi bisa bertahan lama.
Terima kasih Profesor Erni. Kami juga mengundang untuk Ketua Jurusan Teknik Elektro, Ketua Jurusan Teknik Sipil, dan Ketua Jurusan Teknik Industri untuk memberikan penghargaan dan atau yang mewakili. Kami persilakan. Inilah dia rekan-rekan mahasiswa yang berprestasi. Mereka adalah teman-teman kita yang luar biasa yang telah berjuang untuk membawa nama FTIK lebih baik lagi. Mereka berjuang, bahkan ada yang sampai malam begadang di kampus untuk membuat ide-ide gagasan mereka untuk memenangkan perlombaan ini. Beri tepuk tangan yang meriah sekali lagi.
Selamat pagi yang terhormat Prof. Dr. Erni Wiharjo selaku Dekan FTIKO Krida. Yang saya hormati Bapak Ibu dosen FTIKO Krida serta yang saya kasih teman-teman FTIKO Krida. Pertama-tama saya mengucap syukur kepada Tuhan yang senantiasa menyertai dan melimpahkan berkatnya luar biasa kepada kita. sehingga kita semua dapat berkumpul bersama-sama hari ini. Saya juga berterima kasih kepada pihak FTIK yang memberikan kepercayaan dan kesempatan yang indah ini kepada saya untuk berdiri di tempat ini dan men-sharing pengalaman saya dalam mengikuti kompetisi beberapa pekan yang lalu, serta untuk memotivasi teman-teman untuk lebih aktif lagi dalam mengikuti kompetisi. Oke, saya akan sharing sedikit tentang lomba saya sebelumnya. Yang pertama adalah lomba FICN, yaitu Engineering Festival and Competition di UPH. Dalam lomba ini kami berhasil mendapatkan peringkat 5 skala nasional. Pada waktu itu terdapat 17 tim yang berasal dari berbagai provinsi negara Indonesia, yang kita kenal seperti UI, UGM, ITB, Universitas Negeri Unggulan, dan juga universitas yang lainnya. Pada hari pertama terdapat 2 sesi lomba. Yang pertama itu soal pilihan ganda dan juga soal isian. Dalam kedua babak ini, kami dari UKRIDA berhasil menduduki peringkat 4 skor sementara dari atas, di mana posisi ke-1 dan kedua adalah UPH dan juga diikuti dengan universitas negeri lainnya. Pada saat ini kami berhasil mengungguli perolehan skor sementara untuk ITB dan UI dan juga UGM. Nah, pada sesi ketiga dilanjutkan keesokan harinya, yaitu sesi gambling yang merupakan satu cerdas cermat. Sesi ini merupakan sesi yang tergolong cukup berat bagi kami, karena di dalam sesi tersebut kami dihadapkan dengan 2 lawan dari UI. Kami UKRIDA melawan UI 1 dan UI 3. Nah, pada sesi ini kami berebutan nilai untuk memperoleh skor yang besar agar kami dapat terpilih lolos untuk masuk ke babak final. Karena dalam setiap sesi ini hanya 1 tim berhak lolos. Puji Tuhan kami dapat lolos dengan skor yang sangat tinggi dan jauh lebih besar dibanding UI. Nah, lalu untuk masuk ke babak final, kami diharuskan mengusulkan suatu solusi terhadap studi kasus yang dipaparkan pada perusahaan otomotif. Pada hari terakhir kami mempresentasikan hasil usulan kami kepada juri. Setelah semua itu selesai, kami menunggu pengumuman dan alhasil kami memperoleh peringkat ke-5 skala nasional. Lalu lomba kedua yang saya dan teman-teman ikuti adalah Business Case Competition yang diselenggarakan oleh PPM School of Management. Latar belakang saya dan teman-teman ikut lomba ini sebenarnya dari pemikiran awal saya yang bisa dibilang agak random. Pada awalnya saya iseng dan penasaran untuk mengikuti Business Case Competition ini, karena menurut saya Business Case Competition itu penerapan ilmunya sangat luas. Sedangkan kami sebagai teknik industri, kami juga mempelajari mata kuliah yang sifatnya penerapan ilmunya itu luas juga. Maka menurut kami ada peluang di sini untuk mengikuti lomba ini. Kemudian saya langsung mengajak 2 teman saya, dalam hal ini Agus Kurniawan yang sedang lomba dan juga Niko untuk mengikuti lomba ini. Saya mencoba meyakinkan mereka dan tanpa basa-basi mereka juga setuju untuk bersama dengan saya mengikuti lomba ini. Kebetulan pada waktu itu saya menjabat sebagai ketua MTI periode 2014 dan saya langsung memberitahu kepada bagian koordinator lomba untuk mendaftarkan kami. Dalam menjabat sebagai ketua MTI, saya ingin seluruh mahasiswa lebih aktif lagi untuk ikut serta dalam berbagai kompetisi. Untuk mengawali terwujudnya harapan saya itu, saya sendiri sebagai ketua yang harus terjun langsung mengikuti lomba dengan harapan mampu merepresentasi dan menjadi motor penggerak mahasiswa lainnya untuk mengikuti berbagai kompetisi lainnya. Dalam lomba PPM tersebut dibagi ke dalam 2 tahap. Tahap pertama adalah tahap seleksi. Dalam tahap ini kami diberikan sebuah kasus bisnis tentang permasalahan yang terdapat di perusahaan taksi ekspres, yaitu di bidang marketingnya dan juga bidang operasionalnya. Kami harus menyampaikan usulan solusi dan strategi-strategi yang dapat menyelesaikan permasalahan di perusahaan taksi ekspres. Dan usulan tersebut dapat kami muat dalam bentuk business analysis report. Dalam pembuatan business report ini, kami juga dibimbing dan diberi masukan oleh dosen teknik industri. Dalam ini adalah Bapak Sunardi dan juga Bapak Budi Marpaung. Beliau dengan senang hati dan semangat rela meluangkan waktunya untuk membimbing dan membantu kami dengan memberikan masukan terkait penyelesaian business analysis report tersebut. Setelah business analysis report dikumpulkan pada pihak serta, kami menunggu hasil pengumuman seleksi. Pada waktu itu hanya 12 tim dengan perolehan skor teratas yang berhak masuk ke babak final. Pada saat pengumuman diterima, hal yang sangat mengejutkan saya terima. Tim dari UKRIDA berhasil memperoleh skor tertinggi dan menduduki peringkat 1 dari 101 tim yang mendaftar pada kompetisi tersebut. Suatu pencapaian sangat luar biasa. Saya sangat senang dan bersyukur kepada Tuhan atas apa yang saya dan teman kami terima. Pada babak final kami bertemu lagi dengan universitas-universitas ternama seperti UI, UGM, Telkom, Prastemula yang dikenal dengan sekolah bisnis terbaik dan juga yang lainnya. Pada babak final ini kami ada presentasi di hadapan para juri. Kami harus menjawab berbagai pertanyaan dari tim lawan dan juga dari tim juri. Setelah tahap terakhir selesai, kami menunggu pengumuman juara. Pada saat pengumuman, puji Tuhan kami memperoleh peringkat 2 dalam kompetisi bisnis skala nasional tersebut. Suatu prestasi yang sangat membanggakan bagi saya secara pribadi dan bagi Frida. Modal penasaran dan iseng menjadi berkah. Nah, teman-teman, terdapat beberapa hal yang ingin saya sampaikan terkait cerita pengalaman yang telah saya paparkan. Saya yakin di antara teman-teman pasti ada yang merasa berkecil hati kuliah di Ukrida. Khususnya bagi jurusan selain kedokteran maupun psikologi. Kedokteran maupun psikologi Ukrida masih memiliki nama di luar sana, namun tidak untuk jurusan yang lain. Saya ingat sekali ketika lomba saya selalu ditanya, dari mana asalnya? Lalu saya menjawab Ukrida. Banyak di antara mereka tidak tahu Ukrida itu di mana. Lalu dengan kami pun menjawab Ukrida itu di Grogol dekat dengan Untar Trisakti. Ada yang tahu dan juga ada yang masih belum tahu. Ada yang tahu bilang, oh saya pernah lihat dari tol ada Ukrida. Lalu yang sedihnya adalah yang masih belum tahu. Terus dengan sedihnya lagi kami menjawab, kami itu di sebelah Semak 1 Penabur. Oh, Semak 1 Penabur. Nah, mereka tahu Semak 1 Penabur, tapi mengapa mereka tidak tahu Ukrida, padahal Ukrida di sebelahnya. Nah, di saat itu saya cukup sedih sebenarnya. Karena di situ saya merasa sedih ya. Namun kami hanya sambil tertawa-tawa untuk mencarikan suasana tersebut. Sebelumnya jurusan Teknik Industri Ukrida jarang sekali mengikuti berbagai lomba akademis yang diadakan oleh universitas lain. Namun semenjak saya menjabat sebagai ketua MTI, salah satu pemikiran saya waktu itu adalah Ukrida harus lebih aktif keluar lagi, tidak hanya diam di tempat. Dengan begitu universitas lain akan lebih mengenal Ukrida. Salah satu cara yang dapat mewujudkan hal tersebut adalah dengan mengikuti lomba yang diadakan universitas lain. Hal positif lain yang diperoleh setelah kami berhasil meraih prestasi adalah nama Ukrida lebih kenal di luar sana. Semakin banyak universitas yang mengirimkan proposal lomba ke HMTI ataupun jurusan teknik industri. Sebagai contoh, kami menerima undangan lomba dari UGM di Jogja, Universitas Kristen di Universitas Kristen Petra di Surabaya, Atma Jaya, Trisakti, Untar, Undip, UPH, PPM dan lain sebagainya. Padahal beberapa universitas yang disebutkan tadi tidak pernah sama sekali mengirimkan proposal lomba ke kami. Setelah berhasil meraih prestasi di dua ajang kompetisi tingkat nasional tersebut, terdapat satu turning point di jurusan teknik industri yang cukup signifikan. Melihat keberhasilan kami, teman-teman angkatan 2012 tergerak dan semakin terpacu untuk mengikuti lomba teknik industri di universitas lain. Sebagai contoh, pada bulan Desember ada perwakilan dari industri mengikuti lomba LKTI yang diadakan oleh UI. Kemudian lomba produk desain di Untar, dan puji Tuhan berhasil meraih prestasi juara 3 dengan perwakilan Tony, Stefanus, dan Haryanto. Setelah itu kami juga mengikuti lomba SAP yang diadakan oleh Motion Academy tentang bisnis software, dan juga mengikuti lomba poster ilmiah di BINUS yang hasilnya akan diumumkan 10 Mei mendatang. Dan juga ada teman kami yang hari ini sedang berlomba di UPH. Kami berharap lomba BINUS dan FICN yang baru saja kami ikuti ini mampu memberikan prestasi bagi Ukrida. Teman-teman bisa dilihat bahwa dari yang jarang sekali mengikuti lomba, paling tidak hanya satu lomba selama setahun, sekarang teknik industri tidak sampai 1 tahun sudah mengikuti 7 lomba di berbagai universitas. Kami sangat semangat mengikuti lomba. Secara pribadi saya sangat senang karena apa yang telah saya pelopori berbuah manis dan memberikan dampak yang sangat positif bagi perkembangan jurusan teknik industri. Namun semuanya ini dapat tercapai berkat penyertaan luar biasa dari Tuhan, lalu dukungan dari Bapak Ibu dosen teknik industri, dan dukungan dari teman-teman mahasiswa. Apa yang saya jabarkan panjang lebar tadi tidak ada maksud sama sekali untuk sombong. Saya mengutarakan berbagai prestasi maupun pencapaian yang telah diperoleh untuk mendorong teman-teman teknik industri dan juga jurusan lain untuk lebih aktif lagi dalam ikut berkompetisi. Pasti kita sering merasa kecil terhadap diri kita sendiri dan universitas kita sendiri. Saya nggak pintar-pintar banget kok, saya dari Ukrida. Pasti kalah lah dibanding anak-anak dari universitas lain seperti ITB, UI, UGM, dan lain sebagainya. Mereka pasti jauh lebih hebat dan lebih pintar daripada saya. Menurut saya, pemikiran-pemikiran ini yang saya yakin menghambat teman-teman untuk berani berkompetisi. Teman-teman tahu dari mana kalau mereka lebih hebat dari kita sebelum sendiri kita yang take action untuk langsung terjun dalam kompetisi. Saya pun pada awalnya punya perasaan yang sama seperti apa yang baru saja saya ucapkan. Awalnya saya takut, namun saya tergerak untuk mencoba dan mencari tahu sendiri apakah benar pemikiran saya itu. Saya membuktikannya dengan cara mengikuti lomba yang ada. Ternyata kenyataannya sangat jauh berbeda dibandingkan dengan apa yang saya pikirkan. Kita anak-anak Ukrida yang universitasnya kecil, kalah dari segi fasilitas, kalah dari segi ketenaran nama, kalah dari segi gengsi, kalah dari berbagai hal lainnya, ternyata kita tidak kalah dalam bidang akademis. Ingat teman-teman, dalam bidang akademis kita tidak kalah. Kemampuan otak kita, kemampuan analitis dan berpikir kita tidak kalah dengan universitas lain. Kita boleh kalah dari segi fasilitas, namun kemampuan akademis kita tidak kalah. Apa buktinya? Kok saya bisa bilang seperti itu? Saya punya buktinya dan semua buktinya sudah saya ucapkan tadi. Saya tidak mengada-ngada. Ketika lomba FICN UPH, kami mampu meraih skor yang lebih tinggi dibandingkan universitas ternama seperti ITB, UI, dan UGM. Pada sesi penyelenggaraan Asian, ketika sesi cerdas cermat, kami mampu mengalahkan 2 tim yang berasal dari UI. Maaf sebelumnya ini tidak ada maksud lain untuk menjatuhkan nama universitas unggulan tersebut. Ketika sesi cerdas cermat, selain itu lomba di PPM, kami berhasil mengalahkan UI, UGM, dan Prasetya Mulia serta PPM sendiri. Ini membuktikan bahwa kemampuan akademis kita tidak kalah dengan mereka. Kita mampu bersaing dengan mereka. Dan satu pencapaian yang satu apresiasi yang menurut saya sangat bangga dari juri dari PPM adalah mereka mengakui kemampuan analitis yang kami miliki. Tidak ada universitas lain yang memiliki kemampuan analitis setajam apa yang kami usulkan. Karena bisa dilihat pada sesi pengaduan terhadap sesi tanya jawab terhadap universitas lain, mereka pun bingung sebenarnya mau tanya kami itu apa, karena kami terlalu sifatnya seperti statistik, seperti QFD dan seperti itu. Sedangkan mereka hanya standar seperti SWOT, Strength, Weakness, Opportunities, dan Threat saja. Oke teman-teman, stop berkecil hati. Dan saatnya kita bangkit demi nama Ukrida. Ayo kita harumkan nama Ukrida di luar sana. Ukrida telah memberikan kita fasilitas, pendidikan, beasiswa, dan yang lainnya. Maka dari itu, ayo kita beri sesuatu untuk Ukrida, kita beri prestasi untuk Ukrida, kita buat bangga Ukrida. Secara pribadi saya bangga sebagai mahasiswa Ukrida, dan kita harus bangga sebagai mahasiswa Ukrida. Jangan pernah ragu menjawab jika kita ditanya kamu kuliah di mana. Jawablah dengan suara yang lantang, saya kuliah di Ukrida. Kita buktikan kepada mereka yang mengecilkan kita bahwa kita lebih baik dan akan lebih sukses dibanding mereka. Pasti seringkali kita merasa malu ketika kita ditanya, lu kuliah di mana? Gue di Ukrida. Lu di mana? Gue di UPH, gue di Prasmul. Itu merupakan dari segi fasilitas dan segi ketenaran nama, kita sangat jauh di bawah itu. Namun janganlah kita takut, kita buktikan bahwa apa yang mereka pikirkan itu salah. Kita bisa lebih baik dari mereka, meskipun kita lebih kecil dari mereka. Kesuksesan ada di tangan kita sendiri, bukan di tangan orang lain, bukan di tangan universitas, ataupun tangan siapapun. Jika kita memilih untuk sukses, maka kita akan sukses. Jika kita hanya ingin berdiam di tempat dan tidak yakin bahwa kita akan sukses, maka kita tidak akan bisa sukses. Ayo teman-teman, kita bangkit dan aktif untuk berkompetisi dan meraih prestasi. Percaya dengan kemampuan yang Anda miliki, serta serahkanlah semuanya kepada Tuhan. Maka kita memiliki kuota yang luar biasa. Urusan gagal atau sukses itu urusan nanti. Jangan pernah takut untuk mencoba ikut berkompetisi. Yang penting kita take action dan berani mencoba. Jika kita sama sekali tidak berani dan tidak mau berkompetisi, maka 100% kita gagal. Tapi kalau kita berani dan mencoba untuk ikut kompetisi, kegagalan tersebut turun menjadi 50%. Karena 50% lagi ada peluang keberhasilan kita. Ayo kita ubah paradigma teman-teman kita di luar sana tentang Ukrida. Ketika mereka berbicara tentang Ukrida, maka mereka mau bertanya Ukrida itu di mana ya? Tapi mereka akan bilang, oh Ukrida universitas yang sering juara lomba itu ya. Ayo kita berjuang bersama-sama mewujudkan impian tersebut. Jadikan Ukrida kecil-kecil cabai rawit. Oke, when there's a will, there is a way. Sekian dari saya, mohon maaf jika ada kata-kata yang salah dan tidak berkenan di hati-hati sekalian. Semoga apa yang saya utarakan bermanfaat bagi kita semua. Tuhan memberkati.
Pesan dari Dekan FTIK kepada Profesor Erning Wiharjo kami persilakan.
Salam sejahtera. Hari ini adalah hari yang berbahagia untuk kita semua di FTIK. Ya. Berbahagia karena dua hal. Pertama, berbahagia karena kita memiliki kesempatan untuk merayakan keberhasilan Anda dalam menunjukkan prestasi akademik. Kedua, berbahagia karena kita FTIK diberi kesempatan untuk memiliki seorang profesor yang sangat kompeten di bidangnya, yaitu Profesor Dr. Masahiro Oikawa. Ya. Perayaan ini bisa terjadi karena Anda yang telah melalui ketekunan dan kerja keras, melalui motivasi untuk berprestasi, dan melalui kesadaran untuk berkompetisi. Kompetisi adalah suatu kata yang mau tidak mau akan kita hadapi, baik sebagai mahasiswa, sebagai profesional, sebagai anak, suami, ayah, sebagai dosen, dan sebagainya, sebagai makhluk Tuhan. Saya dan Anda berada dalam tahap kehidupan yang berbeda pada hari ini. Anda berada pada tahapan mulai berkompetisi. Saya berada pada tahapan di akhir kompetisi. Namun kita punya kesamaan, yaitu kesempatan untuk berkompetisi. Yang membedakan adalah apakah Anda mau mengambil kesempatan tersebut. Para mahasiswa yang saya kasihi, saya ingin Anda mempertimbangkan beberapa hal sebagai bahan renungan dalam perjalanan hidup Anda selanjutnya. Pertama, Anda harus menjadi seorang yang gigih dan pantang menyerah. Ini juga berarti Anda harus siap menjadi pihak yang kalah sebelum menjadi pihak pemenang. Kalah dan menang berjalan bersama. Susah dan senang berjalan bergandengan tangan. Seperti seorang bayi yang belajar berjalan, seorang bayi baru terlebih dahulu jatuh, bangun kembali, jatuh lagi, bangun lagi, sebelum akhirnya mahir berjalan dan mampu berlari. Namun kita tidak pernah menyebut si bayi sebagai seorang yang payah atau pecundang dalam berjalan. Kita selalu menyebutnya learning to walk, belajar berjalan. Hal yang sama berlaku pada Anda. Anda harus siap kalah dalam berkompetisi sebelum akhirnya menjadi juara. Dan kami tidak akan pernah menganggap Anda gagal berjalan, karena kami tahu Anda sedang dalam tahap mampu berjalan dan berlari. Dan Anda harus meniru seperti seorang bayi yang tidak berhenti berusaha sampai mampu berjalan dan berlari sendiri. Untuk itu banyak contoh yang saya akan bisa ambil. Salah satunya adalah grup musik The Beatles. Berhasil mendapatkan tawaran rekaman album setelah 10.000 jam ngamen di kafe-kafe. Jadi Anda bisa bayangkan, Beatles 10.000 jam kelalang keliling dulu baru bisa ditawarkan untuk bisa direkam. Waktu saya sekolah di Jepang, saya pernah diberi lukisan, lukisan kaligrafi, isinya huruf kanji. Sebetulnya dari Cina asalnya, 7 jatuh ke 8 berdiri. Ya. Mungkin Dr. Oikawa bisa menjelaskan yang baik. Nana kai koronjate hachikai tate. Ya, itu mungkin beliau yang akan bisa menjelaskan ya. 7 kali terjungkal jatuh, tapi ke-8 akan berdiri. Ya. Itu peribahasa yang kita perlu camkan betul-betul. Ya. Dalam singkatnya, orang Western, orang Barat bisa menyebutkan dalam 3 kata saja, no free lunch. Ya. Ini yang mungkin gampang Anda ingat-ingat. Ya. Tidak ada makan siang gratis. Ya. Jadi Anda harus berusaha. Kemudian yang kedua, carilah mentor. Ya. Seorang pembimbing yang mau mengarahkan dan coaching. Ya. Apa yang Anda lakukan. Mungkin di dalam perkataan bahasa Indonesia, trainer dengan coach itu tidak banyak bedanya sebagai pelatih, ya. Tapi coaching lebih person to person. Ya. Jadi di dalam badminton mungkin si coachnya memberikan bola-bola yang susah atau yang bergantian supaya partnernya bisa berlatih. Ya. Itu sangat dibutuhkan oleh Anda. Orang tua kalian adalah para mentor utama tentunya, dan setelah itu saudara atau kakak, teman, dan mungkin 1-2 orang dosen, ya, yang membantu kalian melangkah lebih maju. Ya. Selalu cari mentor tersebut di kampus, di gereja maupun di tempat kerja. Mereka juga merupakan salah satu kunci kesuksesan Anda di masa mendatang. Ya. Yang ketiga, be happy. Ya, ini mungkin semua juga ingin bahagia. Ya. Apa yang membuatmu bahagia? Para peneliti di bidang psikologi telah meneliti tentang orang-orang yang berbahagia. Coba tebak berapa banyak yang berbahagia karena uang dan status ekonomi. Tebak, Anda bisa tebak 70% atau 80%? Ya, yang bahagia karena ekonomi, jawabnya no. Ya, tidak lebih dari 10%. Tidak lebih dari 10%. Apa yang ditemukan oleh para peneliti tersebut adalah bahwa Anda memang butuh uang untuk makan, pakaian, rumah, dan untuk bahagia, untuk menjadi bahagia. Tetapi yang mencengangkan adalah, pertama, orang yang digaji 5 juta ternyata sama bahagianya dengan yang digaji 50 juta. Dan yang kedua, orang yang menghasilkan uang semakin banyak cenderung menjadi semakin tidak bahagia, karena mereka semakin memperhatikan status, uang, dan image. Saya rasa mereka tidak tahu apa artinya cukup. Lalu bagaimana yang dengan 90%? Hal lainnya yang membuat kita bahagia. Mereka menyebutnya aktivitas bermakna. Dan hal ini yang mampu membuat hidupnya bermakna. Para peneliti ini menemukan beberapa aktivitas bermakna yang mampu membuat seorang berbahagia. 1. Terlibat secara aktif dalam kompetisi. Seperti apa yang telah ditunjukkan oleh para mahasiswa FTK ini. Yang kedua, terlibat aktif dalam komunitas. Ya, dalam komunitas, bukan soliter. Keluarga, teman, olahraga. Dan yang ketiga, mencintai apa yang dilakukan. Mencintai apa yang Anda lakukan akan membuat Anda lupa waktu. Bekerja pun terasa tidak seperti bekerja. Hal ini mengantar kita kepada aktivitas bermakna. Ya. Profesor Oikawa juga sudah menjelaskan bahwa beliau hobinya musik. Ya, musik, fotografi, ini yang membuat aktivitas bermakna juga. Ya. Keempat, sebagai orang Kristen, ini adalah hal yang paling penting dalam hidup kita, yaitu temukan rencana Tuhan untuk kita masing-masing melalui talenta dan bakat yang Tuhan berikan kepada kita. Ya. Dan Anda mungkin punya lebih dari satu. Anda mungkin telah pernah mendengar ada yang diberikan 1 talenta, 2 talenta, dan 5 talenta, yang 1 talenta dikubur. Ya. Nah, ini hal yang mungkin jelas sekali Tuhan ingin menyatakan bahwa ada orang diberi talenta yang berbeda. Ya. Nah, kalau Tuhan memberikan talenta yang banyak, manfaatkanlah ini. Ya. Karena dengan mengetahui bakat Anda, tentu Tuhan mau Anda dilahirkan seperti itu. Ya. Tidak mungkin Tuhan ingin menciptakan manusia dengan sembarangan, dengan tanpa planning. Ya. Pada suatu titik pasti chaos dunia ini. Ya. Jadi Tuhan menciptakan Anda tentu dengan rencana yang sudah pasti. Ya. Dan untuk mencari rencana itu, Anda bisa melihat dari bakat-bakat yang diberikan. Ya, Tuhan tidak meminta menjadi saintis, tapi Anda IQ-nya rendah. Tidak mungkin seperti itu. Ya. Tuhan akan memperlengkapi untuk menjadi tujuan yang dicapainya. Ya. Jadi jika Anda kuat di bidang akademik, ikutilah kompetisi akademik untuk mengasahnya. Bagi yang kuat di bidang olahraga dan seni, ikutlah lomba dan kompetisi sesuainya. Para mahasiswa sekalian yang saya cintai, pada hari ini kita akan memberikan selamat dan penghargaan yang sudah kita berikan kepada rekan-rekan kita yang berprestasi selama 2014. Khusus hari ini penghargaan akan diberikan kepada mahasiswa yang berprestasi di bidang akademik. Tahun depan penghargaan akan diberikan kepada para mahasiswa yang berprestasi juga di bidang seni dan olahraga. Maka jadilah dirimu sendiri. Temukan apa yang menjadi aktivitas bermakna dari diri masing-masing. Jadilah orang yang kompetitif, karena kalau tidak maka kamu akan menjadi sampah yang akan dibuang oleh masyarakat. Dan sebaliknya, jika kalian menjadi kompetisi, selalu berkompetisi, maka seluruh hidupmu akan menjadi lebih berwarna dan bermakna. Sekian, God bless you.
Sekian liputan saya Amelia dan Malik Ibrahim melaporkan dari Ukrida TV.